This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you for joining us. It is Thursday, January 23rd. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, President Donald Trump set to make history Friday as the first president to ever appear in person at the annual March for Life in Washington. Democrats continue making their case for removing President Trump from office before the president's legal team gets its turn starting this weekend. How one clinic in Texas is taking on abortion with a different approach as they work for the chance to save lives. And how one British pastor was dead for 15 minutes before the power of prayer brought him back to life. We've got those stories and more in this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We begin this half hour with President Donald Trump setting to make history Friday, becoming the first president to appear in person at the annual March for Life in Washington. The march has taken place every year since the Supreme Court legalized abortion nationwide with the Roe v. Wade decision 47 years ago in January of 1973. The president has addressed the March for Life crowd from the White House, but not in person. Pro-life groups praise the president's decision. China has shut down passenger travel in and out of one of its largest cities in an effort to contain a new deadly coronavirus. At least 17 people are dead and hundreds more have been sickened by the virus. In the United States, health officials are taking precautions to prevent the virus from spreading here. Our Gary Lane is on this story.
China has locked down travel in Wuhan, a city of 11 million people, as well as two other cities, trying to limit spread of the virus as millions are traveling to see family for Chinese New Year. The disease is spreading beyond China, but so far only one known case in the U.S. The man arrived in Washington state a week ago and is under quarantine in a hospital near Seattle. A robot is monitoring his vitals. Now health officials are screening passengers at 5 U.S. airports. Cases also have been reported in Thailand, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. The coronavirus is a respiratory illness, part of a family of viruses ranging from the common cold to the more deadly SARS that killed 800 people in 2002 and 2003. On CBN NewsWatch, CBN News health reporter Lori Johnson said officials are concerned about possible virus mutation.
Like all viruses, George, this one has the potential to mutate, to change, and when that happens, sometimes it can spread even faster and become more serious.
But the good news, officials say the virus is not an airborne disease. It is only spread through close contact with those infected by the virus. And for now, President Trump says there's no need to panic.
We think it's going to be handled very well. We've already handled it very well. CDC has been terrific, very great professionals, and we're in very good shape. And I think China's in very good shape also.
The World Health Organization meeting Wednesday said it needs more information before declaring a global health emergency. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Turning back to Washington now, it is the House Democrats' second day of making its case for impeaching President Trump in the Senate trial. Democrats began making the case Wednesday, repeating their charges that the president tried to pressure Ukraine to investigate potential political rival Joe Biden while withholding military aid. But the president's lawyers are not buying it.
The president went to extraordinary lengths to cheat in the next election.
I believe without question the president of the United States will be acquitted.
The Democrats and then the president's team have 24 hours over 3 days to present their case. After the Democrats finish Friday, the president's attorneys will follow. They will take off Sunday and push into next week. CBN News is providing special coverage of the impeachment trial. We're carrying the Senate impeachment of the President Donald Trump live every day on the CBN News Channel. A case involving religious discrimination and was argued before the U.S. Supreme Court Wednesday. It centers on a program in Montana which would provide tax breaks for scholarship donations that help students attend private schools. The issue with the program, it specifically excludes religious schools. Our Paul Strand brings us the story now from the U.S. Supreme Court.
Both sides in this case, Espinoza versus Montana Department of Revenue, say they have the U.S. Constitution on their side. Those who agree with Montana that it can't offer any kind of government benefit that profits religion say that's clearly a matter of separation of church and state.
We don't believe that you as a taxpayer should be compelled to fund anybody else's religious practices.
But those who are on the side of parents with kids in religious schools in Montana say that government is clearly discriminating against religion when it offers a benefit to any private school except religious ones.
Here, the class discriminated against are religious people, anyone who wants to send their kids to a religious school.
Parent Kendra Espinoza says she could not afford the religious school her daughters attend without some financial assistance, such as those Montana scholarships.
At home, we're a Christian family, and I want those values taught at school. I think that our morals as a society come from the Bible.
As expected, atheist and secular groups showed up here to protest any taxpayer dollars going to any sort of religious institution. Debbie Allen claims some religious schools teach clear discrimination.
So they teach biblical law, for example, and they will discriminate against homosexuals, and so we think this is an inappropriate use of taxpayer money.
But Eric Baxter, whose Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty filed an amicus brief backing the parents, was encouraged by what he heard in the court.
5 of the justices seem to very clearly see the discrimination that's occurring when you take funding away from students because of their religious status.
A recent case, Trinity Lutheran, may be a deciding factor here. In that case, the justices ruled overwhelmingly that Missouri could not offer government grants to private schools to resurface their playgrounds and make them safer if it refused that money to religious schools. Some see remarkable similarities to that case and this one. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the Supreme Court.
Thank you, Paul. Dozens of world leaders have traveled to Jerusalem for the largest ever gathering focused on commemorating the Holocaust and fighting modern anti-Semitism. Vice President Mike Pence and his wife arrived today for the World Holocaust Forum, greeted at the airport by Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi led a bipartisan congressional delegation. Israeli President Reuven Rivlin welcomed her ahead of the forum. Russian President Vladimir Putin is also in Jerusalem, where he was met by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The ceremony at Jerusalem's Holocaust Memorial is designed to project a united front against a spike in anti-Jewish violence in Europe and around the world. Turn now to Nigeria, where a Christian pastor has been executed by members of the radical Islamic group Boko Haram. Pastor Lawan Andimi, a senior member of the Christian Association of Nigeria, was beheaded by Boko Haram fighters. He was captured on January 2nd and had released a video urging his family not to, quote, feel sorry for him since God's will must be respected. He was a senior member of the Christian Association of Nigeria. Truett Foster McKeon, the son of Christian rapper Toby Mac, was confirmed to have died of an accidental overdose. That is according to a representative from the family. The 21-year-old suffered a deadly cardiac arrest on October 23rd of last year after consuming a mix of fentanyl and amphetamines, the representative told People magazine. He died at the family's Tennessee home. Toby Mac has openly grieved the loss of his oldest son, penning lengthy tributes and even recording a song in his honor. He says the song 21 Years is a song he never wanted to write, and he hopes it also helps others out there. Our prayers still go out to him and his family and those who've lost their children. Coming up, the economy is going strong with the best job market in more than 50 years. So why are some of America's biggest cities facing a growing problem of homelessness? We're going to hear one expert's answer to that question when we come back.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government. Ready to become a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer? To start your rewarding career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Superbook fans, here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, activities and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
No Spur Falls, man. Come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes too, and so much more. Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Get the top political news and analysis from Washington on Faith Nation, tonight at 6 Eastern, only on the CBN News Channel.
Homeless numbers are surging in San Francisco's Bay Area, in Los Angeles, and other large U.S. cities. In New York City, homelessness is at the highest number since the Great Depression. So why is this problem now growing in a time of economic prosperity? On this week's episode of The Global Lane, Michael Fisher, president of New York Central Park South Civic Association, explains why he thinks the homeless should be removed from living on city streets.
They need to have these facilities to rehabilitate these people, get them up to speed. Then once they're off the drugs and everything, or alcohol, or maybe they're mentally ill and they're given medications to help them there, then they can be trained, go out and get jobs, and be placed in affordable housing and live a normal life.
Out in California, I know Governor Gavin Newsom, he blames President Trump for the homeless problem in the Golden State, saying that HUD's withholding information that California needs to release funds to address the problem. So is Donald Trump to blame for homelessness there and in New York City?
Well, first of all, Mayor de Blasio is spending in excess of $1 billion in his second term. In his first term, he didn't do anything. Second term, $1 billion to open up 90 shelters that he wants to open up in the most expensive areas in the city. So there are these slumlords that own these buildings. They're making millions and millions of dollars, and it doesn't address the people on the street. The people on the street don't go into these shelters. These shelters are addressing moving people from one building, one shelter to another, or it's addressing the issue where people have like these early release programs out of prison and they go into these shelters, but it's not addressing the actual people that are living on the streets. Trump has nothing to do with this issue. I mean, I know that Mayor de Blasio is trying to blame Trump for his lack of affordable housing in New York City, but quite frankly, you can't blame Trump for this. You got to blame de Blasio for this because he's not helping people off the streets.
Well, de Blasio is the mayor, is he not? So what needs to be done beyond this? I know that Amazon and Microsoft are committing hundreds of millions of dollars for an affordable housing program for low-income Americans, but you say it's mostly mentally ill people, so would that work at all?
Well, I mean, I know that Amazon is putting together a program, you know, for people that need shelters to come in at night, and then once overnight they stay there and then they leave the next day. But that's not really addressing the problem on the streets. I think that, you know, what Google and Microsoft and all these other companies should be doing is sticking to what they do best, providing jobs. So how about we do this? How about we rehabilitate? How about maybe if they want, they can contribute funding towards rehabilitation if they'd like, if they want to donate their money to the government, although the government does have plenty of funding for that. But how about that these companies provide jobs for these people? Once these people are rehabilitated, how about Microsoft and Amazon and some of these other large companies provide training and jobs for people? For them to get into the, you know, shelter business, that's not their business. That's not what they do best. They do best creating jobs for people. Why don't they help the homeless people there? That would be great.
Well, I know Amazon wanted to come into New York, but AOC got involved in that, and then they said, forget it. So beyond that, quickly, what role can churches and ministries then play in all of this?
Oh, a big role. I think that the problem with government is they literally just, they create smoke and mirrors. They create the impression that they're doing things. Okay. For example, I know in New York, Mayor de Blasio, you know, creates this program called Turn the Tide program. So he has all these fancy names. He spends millions of dollars on brochures. He should also be sitting down with the churches and meeting with them and find out ways and putting together programs, working together with the churches to find ways that the churches can also help the homeless people. It'd be great if we could get a summit together between the mayor of New York, governor of California, and mayors of the major cities in California, and some of the mayors and governors in some of the other states that are being impacted, by this crisis, where you're seeing people that are literally living in tents along streets. You see needles all over the place, people defecating in the streets. It's a terrible scenario. Let's have a productive meeting. Let's sit down and let's come up with some solutions to this problem. I don't think it's that complicated. I certainly would rather see politicians sitting down with the president and trying to come up with a solution than spending all this wasteful time on trying to impeach the president.
Okay, instead of pointing fingers, maybe coming up with solutions. Michael Fisher, president of New York Central Park South Civic Association, thank you for sharing those insights.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hear more from Fisher along with Gary Lane's commentary on buying from Amazon with the palm of your hand. Is it the mark of the beast or smart commerce? You can see those stories and more on the Global Lane. It begins at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And of course, that is on the CBN News Channel. Still ahead, while many state legislators have passed laws regulating abortion, hoping they'll get the Supreme Court in order to overturn the decision which legalized abortion nationwide. We're going to show you how one clinic in Texas is taking a different approach when we come back.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Catholic Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Watch Christian World News, Saturday at 5 p.m. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
Many pro-life groups are hoping to take their state battles over abortion all the way to the Supreme Court, hoping to see Roe v. Wade overturned. But as Jennifer Wishon reports, one clinic in Texas, the state where Roe originated, is taking a different approach as they work for the chance to save lives.
9:30 in San Antonio, and it's already hot.
In order to appreciate the power of Christ,
these women are getting ready for their day.
Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Our sin caused a rift between us and him. So great is the holiness of our God.
They worship and praise.
We finished abortion recovery with Angela, and she's healed.
Preparing them for a calendar full of chances to save lives.
Well, let's get after it.
They give the day to God.
We pray, oh God, that she will keep her divine appointment at 1, that she would see that this is a child and not a product of conception, and that she will give this child life. Father, we pray for life for this child. Amen. Amen.
It's a daily ritual here at Life Choices Medical Clinic, a place where these professionals never know what needs they'll be asked to meet.
Sometimes it's practical, sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's emotional.
It's kind of diaper central. It was intended to be our education room.
When Charity Farrar started at the clinic nearly 10 years ago, she says it was great at handing out diapers.
From the front door, they come up this hall, and this is the staging area.
But when they started offering medical services to women and eventually men, their influence multiplied.
This room here is our ultrasound room. I love this room. It's my favorite room probably in the whole building. God does amazing things in this room.
Here at Life Choices Medical Clinic, women can get a pregnancy test, get a free ultrasound to see pictures of their baby, get prenatal care and counseling, all within a few steps down this hallway.
Our goal really as the clinic is to make sure that they know they're fully supported throughout their pregnancy.
That's sometimes a big help if they're choosing between life and termination. Knowing that they have that continuity of care gives them a secure feeling.
They even offer testing and treatment for sexually transmitted diseases.
If they're here for STI testing and treatment, then we talk to them about that. And what are their risks and the exposure that they have, and what can we do to prevent that? Oh, by the way, what does God say about all of this?
Ellen Leone has honed her skill of discernment. This afternoon, she gets the chance to show that abortion-minded mom pictures of her baby.
It's really just letting God take over in the moment, too, because, you know, He's active in the room, and just seeing the Holy Spirit move their hearts is just it's a blessing to see.
This clinic and hundreds of others across the country are proving critics wrong, who say pro-life activists stop caring about women after they choose life for their babies. Life Choices supports some moms until their children reach kindergarten. And last year, the clinic witnessed nearly 120.
Oh, these are brown and blue.
Professions of faith.
We love it when our patients ask us if they can have a Bible. Our number one mission is to be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ. Everything else is secondary to presenting the gospel. My personal philosophy is that if we save the mother eternally, we save that baby because the mom has a change of heart.
It's wonderful being in that we have the freedom to share our faith. It's not by any means coercive or anything that we do there, but where we can live like human to human and really connect with patients.
And now Farrar wants to take this hopeful model across Texas. Working with 4 other organizations, Life Choices aims to serve 100,000 women and save 10,000 babies in just 5 years.
Abortion started in Texas. We want to end it in Texas. Abortion is an atrocity. Abortion is not health care. It's not health care for the mother and certainly not health care for the child. But life. Jesus came that we might have life and have life abundantly. That starts now.
So what about that abortion-minded mom Farrar and her staff prayed for? After her appointment, she decided to keep her baby. Folks at this clinic have learned the more contact they have with a woman, the more likely she is to keep her baby, and the better equipped she is for motherhood. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, San Antonio.
Coming up, a miraculous report about how the power of prayer brought a dead pastor back to life. We're going to have that story when we come back. Stay with us.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
Meet the pastors who are preaching the gospel in a fresh, fearless way. I'm Roberto Torres Cedillo. Join me each week for Next Gen Voices. And watch God transform a generation.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is, this is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
by sharing their knowledge
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
and their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Check out the CBN News Daily Rundown podcast each weekday with me, Caitlin Burke. Click on the show tab at cbnnews.com where you can listen and subscribe.
A pastor in the United Kingdom dead for 15 minutes credits the power of prayer and divine providence for bringing him back to life. Last November, 47-year-old Christopher Wickland, the pastor of Living Word Pentecostal Church, was jumping at a trampoline park with 3 of his youngest children when he became sick and collapsed, according to the Daily Echo. The park staff quickly administered CPR and used a defibrillator to restart his heart, but Wickland stopped breathing for 15 minutes. He was taken to an ICU at a hospital where doctors told his wife, Tracy, he had suffered cardiac arrest. They said even if he lived, he could suffer brain and heart damage. Tracy immediately posted about his condition on Facebook, and people from around the world replied, saying they were praying. Wickland spent almost 48 hours in an induced coma, then woke up on a Sunday morning just as his church was conducting morning services. He told the Daily Mail there's absolutely nothing wrong with him right now, and he says the entire ordeal was nothing short of a miracle. Every day is certainly a day of Thanksgiving, so it is time for your Thursday Thankful, and I pray you will join me in this prayer of gratitude. God, you are good, even when my situation is not good, and I know you will cause all things to work together for my good and for your glory. With that prayer, I trust you'll make today a thankful Thursday. Remember, an attitude of gratitude always goes a very long way. You be grateful, and it will indeed change your perspective and your life. That will do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can always find more of our CBN News programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. Feel free to email us. That address is newswatch@cbn.com. See it there on your screen. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Certainly hope you'll join us again right here next time. Again, I encourage you to make today a thankful Thursday and make it a wonderful rest of the week. And of course, we'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.